one is actually a YouTube video for a blog hop that I participate in once a month. I have a group of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in the Victoria area that love to get together once a month. We're called the Seashore Stampers, and we post monthly. And we always have a theme, and it can either be a card or a three-dimensional project. So we meet and then we do a card swap, and then each person takes that card swap or box swap or whatever we've done, and then they create a blog post with photos. Some do videos and some just do all of the instructions on the blog. So if you're ever interested in following our blog, we're quite a small group. You know, up to about 5 people may post monthly. And if you live on Vancouver Island, we are opening it up to any other demonstrator on Vancouver Island to join us. So you can contact me at frommetoupapercrafts.blogspot.ca, and my name is Erica. So any other Stampin' Up! Demonstrator is welcome to join us for a monthly blog hop. We do like to have a monthly commitment. Just keep that in mind, just to keep the blog flowing. Anyway, so my card is for my blog this month is this card. I quite like the simplicity of this card. There's not too much going on, and it's fairly fast to put together. But the thing I want to show you mostly is how you can use your scoreboard to create some visual interest on the card. So you see I've scored some interlocking or interconnecting lines here to create a bit of a frame around the card. Now, as we go along, I'm going to show you some other things about doing this. The stamp set I'm using is the Christmas Gleaming. I absolutely love this stamp set. You may have seen on Facebook Live, I did a video showing how to create Christmas ornaments using this. You can look for that on Facebook. Isn't that adorable? And I actually found an old Stampin' Up! Tassel to add to that. So you can create some ornaments with this. They'd be cute to added to a Christmas present. So this stamp set comes with coordinating punches. It was a 2-punch set, these 2 punches here. And what's lovely about any kind of ornament punch, you can also use these as floral petals. So there's an idea for you. And to create this label, I'm using the Timeless Label punch for that. This comes with coordinating papers. The papers are called Brightly Gleaming. They are beautiful copper foiled papers. These were the papers I used on this original card, but today I've decided to change it up a bit and use these 2 papers. So the colors are Mossy Meadow and our new Pretty Peacock. I decided to change up the card base. I'm going to use Real Red today to offset the red berries here. So this is just a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. And then you need 2 pieces of Whisper White, 1 piece for the outside of the card, and then you can insert another one on the inside. All right, so let's get started with this. The first thing I'm going to do is to show you the scoring. That is really the main focus of this video. So let's just set this stuff aside. Hey, have you noticed my new grid paper? This is new. It's not in the holiday catalog, but it is online, and you can purchase this grid paper. It's 12 by 12 and it's 2-sided, so you get these lovely trees on this side, and on this side you get some red. This was from the Christmas Toil paper, which is really pretty. It's kind of old-fashioned. I love old-fashioned Christmases. So there you go. If you're interested in getting that grid paper, you can order that through my online store. All right, now I'm going to pull out my scoreboard. Now, I'm pretty well going to duplicate the same scoring I did on the original card, but keep in mind you can do any scoring that you like. So let me grab my stylus here. And basically all I did was I scored this at, I think it was 1/2 inch 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Really, really simple. Oh, one tip I recommend to everyone who scores cardstock is to run a piece of wax paper. This is one of my best tips. Take a piece of wax paper and then glide it over your cardstock. This will make your stylus flow so beautifully. I don't know if you've noticed, but when you use cardstock and these metal styluses, they seem to sort of get stuck, and then there's the danger of skipping tracks. Now, with the wax paper, it makes the scoring a lot more smoothly. So you do have to go a little bit more slowly as you score to avoid jumping the track. If you go like this, then there's a good chance you're going to jump the track. So I'm going to use my wide ball. No, I'm going to use my fine ball on cardstock. And so I'm just going to do 1/2 inch. And I like to rub, for those of you new to using a scoreboard, I like to rub to make sure I'm in the track to start off with, and then gently go down. And now I'm going to go into the 1 inch, or sorry, the 1/2 inch mark. So 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So you guys, what do you think of my Halloween nails? I was at the nail place yesterday, and the lady who does my nails, lovely young lady, she had her nails all orange, and then she had a couple of black nails, and I thought that was kind of cute, so I said, okay, do the same for me. All right, so there's your scoring. Now, you can choose to have this as the debossed. Debossed means that you've created this valley, so you could have that as the top facing of your card, or you could flip it over, and now you have the embossed. So now you've got the raised lines. So you can choose whichever look you like the best. So that's really simple. And I like to score my lines first before I stamp, so that I'm staying within that boundary there. Now on the stamp set Christmas Gleaming, we're using red rubber stamps, so I don't need my mat underneath it. Just so that you know, I like to use the Stampin' Up! Foam piercing mat when I'm using photopolymer stamps. It gives it a nice cushion. With red rubber, of course, you don't need the cushion because there's already a foam mat in there. Another great tool to use for stamping photopolymer stamps is your silicone mat. This I use for all kinds of purposes, including most of my gluing. So this is a great little mat to have as part of your tools. All right, so what I'm going to do is stamp this in Memento Black ink. We're going to start with the holly. We'll ink that up. And I'm kind of stamping this in that upper right-hand corner here. I'm going to tilt it a bit. Okay, now I'm using blends to color this. The colors I'm using are Old Olive and Real Red. And so if you know how to color, you can fast forward this bit of the video. Actually, let's not color right away, just so I can get more information for you going. Okay, punches. Let's cover up the ink before we make a boo-boo. All right, so I'm going to take my 2 pieces of cardstock of DSP here, and we'll make, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to make 1 large one and 1 small one. Here's another tip. I've pre-cut a lot of my cardstock. I follow Kylie Bertucci in cutting up my cardstock. I leave a few of the patterns as 12 by 12 because I love making bags and boxes, but most of it I cut up into my 4 by 5 1/4 pieces. And so if I'm going to use a punch to cut something out, I often will punch it out in a place where I could perhaps use this for another card. So for example, I could punch this perhaps on the right side or the left side and then create another layer, you know, for another card, rather than just doing something random. So I'm going to punch this here. Okay, so now you can use this for another card layer, for another card. And then we'll use the small punch for this other color, this Mossy Meadow and Copper. I love that. It's very earthy looking. So let's position this one down here. And then if you're going to create another card from this, you could then, you know, punch out the larger punch over here somewhere on those two pieces and make a very interesting card. I might do that in another video, actually. That would be kind of fun. All right, let's put our punches away. Now, what I thought a little bit different this time is on this card, I just punched the paper, but I'm going to see if I can punch a little top to this. You know how our baubles have either gold or silver. So I pulled out a bit of copper. Actually, I need the punch back, silly me. And I'm just going to punch, I'm going to use up as much scrap as I can. I'm just going to punch out the very top of that and try not to lose that piece. And then let's punch out the other one. And we'll glue those on before we mount those ornaments. So that's all I need that copper paper for. So let's take a little bit. Now I'm a tweezer fan. I love to use my tweezers to hold things. And let's get out my Tombow glue. So I'm going to I think I'll put a bit of glue just on here. Tiny bit of glue. You don't want it seeping out all over the place. Sorry if I get my head in the camera. And then let's do this one. Oh, I put glue on that, you silly girl. Stick my finger right in it. I use my tweezers a lot when I'm embossing things to hold the cardstock so I don't burn my fingers. What do you think? I think that looks good. I'm happy with that. Okay. So there my ornaments are ready, and one of them I'm going to glue flat and the other one I'm going to put a dimensional on. So we can do that now. Let's find my dimensionals here. So get that ready. Okay, for the yeah, we're gonna make a greeting. So I'm gonna grab some Whisper White, and I'm going to take the greeting. And what did I decide? I decided to change the color. I'm going to do it in Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to punch that label with the Pretty Peacock. Let's see how that combination works. Now in the background, I did stamp, there's another cute stamp in that set. It's these little tiny dots. I think I'll do those in the green as well, but I'm going to cover this right now because I want to avoid as many accidents as possible. All right, punch. Where's the punch? If you could see, this area looks crowded enough, but if you could see to my left and to my right, I mean, it's embarrassing. It's just so filled with stuff, and I'm constantly cleaning it up, but it gets mucky again. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm punching this out. Get that as straight as possible along the edges. Okay, now to make the frame, I love doing this. I do this a lot with my punches, is I'm going to punch this out. And then I'm going to cut this in half. There's my scissors. I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to now And I just put a little bit of glue here. And I'm just going to frame that. And I like to use Tombow again because when I've sort of positioned it, I pick it up and make sure my edges are tucked underneath. And then we'll do this one. Tombow glue is very strong, so you don't need a lot. Some people really seem to smear it all over the place, and it's unnecessary. See how I can just slide that into position. Perfect. Lovely, lovely. And I think I put that on a dimensional. Yes, I did. So we'll put a couple of dimensionals on there. Where did I put them? So we'll put one up here. How come that looks crooked there? And hold it a little bit longer. Put one at the top. I'll put one at the bottom. Okay, so now this is ready. So really, truly, I have to do my coloring now. So this is where you can fast forward if you find this boring. But now you can always start with light, or you can start with dark. You know, it's just whatever your preference is. And most of the time I like to use the bullet tip versus the paint tip. I find this a little bit more durable. And so with the light, I'm just going to color, and I like to color in little circles. Then I'm going to add the dark. So I usually just like to go around an edge wherever you think there's going to be a bit of a shadow. So where the berries meet, maybe. And maybe I'll make the centers just a little bit darker too. Now, some people, what they do is after they've added, they do the light, then they do the dark, then they go back to the light to blend it in. But on this tiny little surface, I don't think it really matters. Okay. Now, another way you can do it, you can start with the dark. And with the dark, you would go wherever, again, you think there's going to be some shadows. So again, up near these berries. Well, here's a lesson learned. I've had to restart this video from hopefully where I left off because I ran out of storage on my phone. And that has never happened since getting this new Samsung S10 phone. I've had plenty of storage, and I do delete things, but it looked like, yeah, I was full. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. I had done the berries, and I just started coloring the leaves. And I was telling you that some people start with light, then go to dark. And this time on the leaves, I'm going to go from dark to light. So this is where, for the dark, you're going to color in where you think the shadows are. So I think under the berries, there would be some shadows. And then I'm going to color in the veins of the leaf. You don't have to be really particular about following the lines for the leaf because you're going to blend it all out. And then I'm going to come in with the light now, and I go into the dark and pull out to the light. So I like to go over with the light where the dark bits are, just to pull the color while the inks are still a little bit wet. And then I'll go and fill in the rest of it. And this is the reason why I'm doing one leaf at a time, because I don't want to allow the alcohol to dry completely. So alcohol does dry a lot quicker than if you're watercoloring, but if you get to it fast enough, you'll be good to go. Okay, so let's just do the last leaf now, again with the dark. This will all be in shadow here, I think. And then I'll come in with my light. So hopefully you get the idea. It takes a bit of practice with your blends, so take a piece of your Whisper White cardstock and stamp a few images out that would be good to color, and then give it a go. It's lots of fun, and I find it very relaxing. Some people don't like to color, but I love to color. I have since I was a kid. Oh boy, you should have seen how happy I was when I got my first box of Crayola crayons, 64 pack with the pencil sharpener on the back. I was a happy little girl. I think I was 10 when I colored and colored and colored. So I was destined to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'm sure. All right, so there we've got that now. Now I'm going to put this on my card base and put some, don't press too hard because you don't want to destroy your score lines here. Just put a little bit of tape. Again, you don't need a lot of tape. And then you're going to place it on your card base. I love to use my grid lines. I think I've said this before in my other videos. Line up your card base with your grid lines, and then each of those boxes is 1/4 of an inch. So place your cardstock halfway at 1/8 of an inch. See how lovely that is? Pretty good, eh? Okay, now, yes, I had to redo a lot of these bits because look, I'd already made the card, but I had to redo it for you guys. So this I'm going to come on. Is that out? No, it's not out. Why is it not? There we go. Working. And then the second one I put on a dimensional. Here we go. I really like this card, so I'm happy to have 2 exact copies. I normally don't make 2 alike. I may do the same design, but I'll swap out the colors. But now I'm definitely going to have the same. Oh, let's yes, let's put in our little dots before I put this on. So we're going to use the Mossy Meadow. And we're going to put some here. And we're going to turn, I like to turn the stamp, get a bit of a different design. Let's do a little bit down here. And then we'll do a little bit down here in the corner. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's close the ink before I have an accident. And then let's stick on our Deck the Halls label. Oh my goodness. And there you have it. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd love you to leave a comment about what you think. And in comments, you can ask me questions and I'll get back to you. You can go over to my blog, From Me to You Paper Crafts, which is now hidden underneath my mat here. Here it is, From Me to You Papercrafts.blogspot.ca, where you will see the actual post, and you can join our blog hop if you're Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I hope I'm not repeating myself with this re-filming, but there you go. Again, thanks so much. Until next time.